Hey, I'm Kayla of Mushroom Studio, and today I'm going to outline some of the basic limitations of working on Squarespace. So, Squarespace as a website building platform, trying to outline the cut and dry limitations of it, that's a pretty daunting task. Reason being is that I learn things every day. I learn things from forums, from friends, from colleagues, from coders, and the site itself changes. The site building platform changes and updates every year. And so trying to tell you that you absolutely cut and dry can't do this ever that's not true. But I may not know how to do it right now, and the majority of people probably can't figure out how to do it right now. That's a more true statement. So the easiest way I feel like I can walk you guys through how my thought process works for building a Squarespace site and telling you yes or no, I can't do that, is to take you on a journey with some websites that I know weren't built on Squarespace, and to show you what I think is possible and what I think I couldn't replicate that on Squarespace, or it would take too much time and effort to figure out how to do it. So without further ado, let's get started. So this is a website that I found on awards.com, which is a place that I go to get inspiration and find other sites that are innovative and cutting edge in the website world. So finding a site on awards is like probably not exactly going to translate to the Squarespace world because, like I said, it has a template. It has like these limits that you have to fit in to the confines of the box. But this site actually, a lot of the things on it, when I first saw it, I was like, okay, I think I could replicate something like that. I mean, the first thing that tipped me off was, okay, I know this font, and it's a font that used to be on Adobe Cloud that recently left. Don't get me started on that tirade. But I do know a dupe font for it, so I could get that feel. And then it has an image here at the top, some text, and a button. And this button has this cool animation thing to it. Now, do I think I could replicate that exact animation? No, but I could probably replicate a sliding animation in some way, shape, or fashion on it. And it would probably take me an hour to figure out or find a snippet of code that would do that, or I might have to purchase a piece of code. So it all depends on if you like that feature of a site that you saw somewhere. And I think I could replicate it, but it's going to take time. Are you willing to like invest in that time and effort? And that's the whole piece to it. So the other thing that I know right off the bat is there's an image that's shaped like an arch. This isn't something that I do very frequently with my clients who don't have access to a full-time designer. A lot of my clients are small business owners, and to recreate or change this photo out and make it the same shape is not something they could do. They couldn't do it on Canva. They couldn't do it with the resources available to them. So I probably wouldn't give them a shape like this. Now, if it's their header and it's going to stay there for 2 years and they're happy with it, maybe we could do something like this. I can tell right off the bat, this is an image and it's not coded to have that arching corner. Now, you can code an image in Squarespace to form an arch, but it's going to cut the corners off, obviously. So it really, really depends on what images you can put there. So it limits you in your changes later. So yes, replicable, we can do it in Squarespace. But again, a lot of these like more innovative tweaks are going to cost you something, whether it's time, whether it's flexibility later. The other thing I saw when I popped my cursor up here is that this has a menu that drops down like this. And this is not something you could do in Squarespace. I have no idea how you would do this. Yeah, no clue. The other thing I would say about this menu is if you just look at it as a menu of links, you could do that in Squarespace. Squarespace 7.1, which is the newest format of Squarespace, has very limiting menu display options, and it doesn't give you an option to put 3 on this side and 3 on this side. It doesn't give you an option to split the menu. I think there's a way to get around that, and it's going to take some time and effort. And that's pretty much the answer to everything, is that either I outright can't do it, or it's going to take a lot of time and effort to do something really cool on your site. These are pretty simple and replicatable. You have like your text quote, you have your logo bump lines, Body text, these are just outright images. You could pop that into a thumbnail image, and you can make something like that on Instagram. You got a button with that same animation here, so it seems like it's a cross-site application of the animation, which makes everything a lot easier. If you only apply it to all buttons everywhere, it takes much less time than applying it to one button on one page here or there. Just a header photo, that's pretty cool. Text on this side, easy. Okay, so this has a GIF of a photo, and the thing that would really tell if you could do that or not is depending on how large the GIF file is, because you can input a GIF as an image on Squarespace, but it depends how large it is. So if it's too large, it's not going to accept it. It's going to say, oh no, I don't think that's an image, bounce back. So it has to be small enough to recognize it. And then you just have some images. It looks like they coded these because my cursor kind of appears between them. I'm not sure, but you could definitely put an image of 5 stars above something and pop in a quote there. And then you have a button that has this, or a link that has a cool animation. I don't know. Again, that would be something you'd have to spend time and effort figuring out how to do that. And then here it has a background image and then a couple of different dividing boxes for the panel of what you can do. I think you could do that. Yeah, pretty easy. And then they have their newsletter customized. And so that's got the same link, but these don't. Okay, so that's interesting. They have their links up here with this cool underline graphic, and their links down here just hover white. So that would take added effort to differentiate, making these links do one thing and these links do another. These links look like they have an added, it's kind of a bullet where you would replace the bullet style with this image over here. Or you could find a symbol that would work as text. I'm not sure. But that would be doable. But also everything takes figuring out. So this website is doable, but it would take time and effort to customize. And I am willing to do that 9 times out of 10, but I will oftentimes tell clients if we want something as simple as this little underline graphic and we can't figure out exactly how to do it, give it up. What does it matter? Because people aren't going to figure that out. If I can do something just as cool, just as easily, we should switch it out for something else. So the key with making your Squarespace site really customized is compromise. All right. This is a site that I know I could replicate on Squarespace. It would make me pull my hair out. And the first indication of that is the layout of the site. We have this big section over here, which has this weird pop-up menu, and the mouse itself changes as it lingers on things. I could not do that. And then over here we have the side panel. Both of them seem to scroll at the same time. Sometimes that doesn't happen on websites, but whether that's the case or not, I think trying to create this, it looks like either 3/4 kind of layout or 2/3 kind of thing, would be pretty tricky on Squarespace, especially when it came to having it translate to mobile view. Because where does this side panel go when you're doing mobile view? It would be a nightmare. And then they have all these different shapes and cutouts, which, like I said, if you don't have a designer on retainer and you can't replicate these images in that same shape, it would be hard to keep up as a small business owner. And there's a lot of different things that we could do to make your images stand out that doesn't require that. They have these weird circular buttons. I have no dang clue how to do that. Pretty much everything on this site seems to be a stumper for me. They definitely have a coder working full-time on their stuff. And so I think the main thing is, if you have a site that you want to make it look like crazy innovative, UX, UI design, WordPress, Webflow, that's the direction to go. And Squarespace is not the not the space for you. A lot of the things that are limiting on Squarespace involve mobile view, just like this layout problem right here. Another thing that is also pretty tricky in mobile view, I wanted to show you. I try to do this, I've tried a handful of times to do the split screen, and it does take finagling in mobile view. So to have a site layout like this, I haven't found an easy way to do it yet. And the reason I say that is to find an easy way to do it is the motivation so that you could do it throughout your website and you wouldn't have to be like really customizing every single piece of your site to make sure that the mobile view didn't suck. So things like this, like I love this layout, the split screen layout where it feels like you have a square and a square. If it's perfectly in a web browser, but I haven't figured out a good way to do it for mobile yet. So it's in the books. I think you could pretty easily do it if you used posters to design like your entire site and you had no padding on the edges of your site. But yeah, food for thought, figuring out new things every day. This is like pretty long video, so feel free to double time me. I should have said that at the beginning, but now you know. Lesson learned. Katie Lynn babbles. So if you go to our site, I think it will tell you versus the innovative UX UI sites out there, the way that things are laid out in Squarespace is pretty recognizable. And that's because you're building within a template. You're building within a site builder, not within just no limits, go berserk with code. And so what I would say is anybody who wants to build in Squarespace, it's a wonderful platform for people who want to do their own editing, but give it a chance and give your designer some freedom, leeway, and compromise with them because they're working their hardest to make your dreams come true, but not everything is easy to accomplish, and there are a lot more important things to focus on rather than getting that hover underline animation where you would want it to be. So I hope this video was helpful. Thanks.